What's happening, ladies and gents? Welcome to another episode of the Ready for Anything podcast. So we've got a very special guest on today, which I'm super excited about. It's Mann. He's actually just completed an ultra marathon as well, but back in October 2025, he just completed the world record for the first ever Burpee broad jump marathon, which is 42 kilometers round the track 108 times, which is absolutely insane. So make sure you've hit subscribe to the channel. Please share this episode with someone if it had an impact on you, and enjoy. So, bro, can you explain to everyone the magnitude of... You just done something else, because when I'm asking you this question about what you've just done, you've just ran a backyard ultra as well. But last year, the Burpee Marathon, can you just explain the scale of what you've done and just break it down a little bit for anyone that's unaware of what this is?
So a few months ago, I successfully covered a full marathon in only Burpee broad jumps. And for those who don't understand what it means, it's a full marathon distance, which is 42.195 kilometers, only covered by doing Burpee broad jumps. So every rep, I touched my chest to the floor. Every rep, my 2 feet land and jump at the same time, and I do it over and over again until the distance is completed. So it took me 197 hours, which is 8 days and 5 hours, I believe. Given rules given by the world record people, and I strategized after their rules, and yeah, I just got it done.
Fuck, man. Insane. I was watching the full time, and I've watched like Backyard Ultra, what you've just done there, and it goes on for days. This was like over a week.
This was 8 days, yeah.
8 days, man. So yeah, and how many times did you go down around the 400-meter track, to give people an idea? Because you've done this on a 400-meter track.
So at 105 laps in burpees of the 400-meter track.
Yeah, man. Absolutely insane.
Even I don't know how I've done it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it.
You've got the most applicable name as well, Mann versus Burpee.
Yeah, Mann versus burpees.
Unbelievable. So this podcast is selfishly, when I was writing down questions in here, man, I was actually like putting things down and what do the people want to know? And it was like, what do I want to know? And the more I kind of dig into this and think about it, you're 22 years old and you're from India.
Yeah.
This isn't the conventional path for someone at 22 years old from India. So could you just give me like a wide sort of scope lens to like how things got to there as well?
I think to put things into perspective for everyone and you, because you want to know this, India is a country where people are fighting for survival. So we don't have dreams in India. Nobody gets to dream. Nobody has the right to dream. They have the right only to work, to earn money, to earn enough money that they can feed their family and themselves. I come from a privileged family, and I consider this a blessing, that I got the right to dream. I had goals in my life. I was given everything that I deserved and I needed, and that made me want to do something big in life. So very grateful, and a lot of gratitude to my father, especially, that believes in me so much. When I was young, I had a very heavy passion for football, soccer. And he took the decision to send me abroad to Europe when I was 12 years old, alone, to pursue a life in football. So I lived in Europe from the age of 12 to 19, just traveling all over, playing football for different clubs. And I think that is what set me apart from other Indian people that are living in India, the privilege and the experience and the exposure I got compared to the other Indian people in my age.
Yeah. How many people live in India?
1.3 billion, I think.
I can't remember what I heard this on, but it was like what you expressed there, extreme gratitude for the opportunity. There is a 1 in 7. How many billion people are there on the planet? 7 billion, maybe?
8 billion, yeah. 8 billion people,
There's a 1 in 8 chance that you could be born in India.
Yeah.
And if you're in that one, you said 1.4, 1.5 billion, I can't imagine the affluence to poverty line in that is like 50-50. It's probably going to be like 85-15.
Yeah, I think there's a very big gap. Either you're very poor in India, or either you're very rich in India. Yeah. And the gap is only
getting bigger.
Getting bigger.
Yeah, man. It gave me chills when you said that, because, yeah, I can tell why you're so fired up to do this as well, man, because, Yeah, I think even if you think you've got a 1 in 8 chance of being born in India, like I know I'm speaking hypothetically here, like from an actual population standpoint. So to be from that place and being able to represent your country and also be someone that's broken away from the mold, because I can't imagine with faith, religion as well, and old school ways of thinking as well from a country like that.
Oh, we can go on for days talking about this because these are the topics that really interest me. I was raised without a religion, without a strict mindset, or away from the old-fashioned sense. But I've seen it all around me in my family, in my friends, family that is external, like extended family. I've seen it all around me, and it's so interesting for me because uh, the more I see it, the more I realize how different I am to them and how global I have become because I'm open to everything. But Indians are very, as we say, old-fashioned to the Western mentality, but they're not aware because everyone is right in their own lane.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting as well.
I can imagine even within India, from meeting different Indians, it's so different. It's different areas that you go to as well, like in religion, culture, language, mentality, it shifts.
Everything. It's a spectacular place, incredible. A lot of culture, and every place you go is different.
Yeah. Food's amazing too.
Food's amazing as well. No place like India.
Yeah, it's good. It's on the travel list. We selfishly just keep coming back to Bali because we're so set up here.
Yeah.
I like the traveling sort of side of it, but I think when you've got goals and you're quite locked in what you do, it's hard to be living out of a backpack, jumping from place to place, because you actually want to get some kind of routine in place. But it's definitely on the bucket list to go at some point. So yeah, man. So what sort of, like, I obviously met you 2024, wasn't it?
2024.
And you were training for the burpees, which was in October 25.
Correct.
So how long was the training process?
Actually, the burpees were supposed to be in April 2025.
Yeah.
But again, unexpectedly or fortunately, it ended up being delayed to October, which really worked in my favor. But yes, for the training, I was nobody's tuned in to do burpees for so many hours. So I tried to build it up. So I started with 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours, 4 days. That's how I built it up. The training was immensely boring and torturous, of course. It is just, there's no guide book to this, right? You don't know how to do a burpee marathon. So it was me and my friend back from India. We both just, day by day, used to see how we're feeling and made a plan and really made it happen. So like literally randomized training plans that somehow worked. Obviously putting science behind it. He's a proper SNC coach, and I'm also very experienced by training myself. So we just put our brains to it and somehow made it happen.
Yeah, man, it's inspiring, man. Especially at 22 years old, I was out getting drunk or mad with it, as we would say in Scotland, mad with it. And yeah, man, it's very cool to see. So you mentioned when we were talking off camera before this that I was talking about how far I could kind of ask you questions and where we could cover, and you were like, I'm open to talk about anything. And you were like, even being in Nirvana, that's the gym that we met at, is completely strange for a 22-year-old Indian kid.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, talk to me about that.
I was in the pool, I think, in Nirvana in 2024, and somebody asked me first where I'm from and how old I am. And once they got to know these answers, they said it's such a strange thing to see an Indian kid in a pool of Nirvana with all these successful businessmen and all these super athletes that work out there. And I'm just a boy from India. I think he said it because he's not met an Indian kid in Nirvana before. And I think that would be the case for many others as well. But yeah, it's just, I feel alien in that place as well until I started, I don't know, like neutralizing myself around everyone. Now I feel at place, but at first it was a big cultural shock to me as well. We don't have gyms where you can just be shirtless and walk around, even for the women or for the men, or just how everyone is so open there and the opportunities that I see there. I never knew there was a class for upper body mobility or handstand classes. These are new to me. And I've been in sports for so many years and these are new to me. So I can't imagine if my friends come here, they'll be. In India, even fitness is a privilege. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get that. Because even here, I've spoken to some of the Gojek and Grab drivers, and sometimes they're like, I've asked them the question when I've been talking to them, like, what do you do on your day off? And they're like, day off?
Yeah.
They doesn't even, they're like, I don't have days off. Like, what do you mean? What do I do on my days off? And the same with, I was talking to sometimes when you run past the construction workers and they're looking at you like, why are you wasting your energy on running when you could be working? And it's just such a radical way of thinking that it has to be, because as you said, in India, there is a massive, huge poverty gap and huge poverty divide. What is that like sort of radical shift in how you see yourself being in places like this, surrounded by different cultures, people that have a way of thinking that's just so contrasting to where you're from? What's that done for you going back to India?
I've actually, so see, even this podcast, it will only reach the people who are privileged enough to know and be aware about this, right? I'm only talking about Indians. Yeah. If it reaches Indians, only the people that are aware and privileged will hear this and learn from it. So in any ways, we delete 90% of the population in India just by being aware. And when I go back, I really feel a shift because, again, my friends, they're after different goals in life, and friend groups are made mostly by the goals you have, I believe, because that is the surrounding you want around yourself. And I lack a good friend group in India, not because I am right and they're wrong, but because I don't match with anyone else in India. The things I want to do and the life I want to lead is very different from a very simple Indian life. And every time I go back, I don't want to be there, not because I don't like my country, but because I have no one to borrow belief from. I always say this, that when I am out of belief, when I want to do something, you borrow belief from the people around you.
I say that as well.
I have no one around me to borrow belief from, no friends like that understand my wavelength of thinking. So next month I'm going to India for this small thing I have to do, and I'm coming back in 6 days because it's best for me to spend the least amount of time there for me to personally grow.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of people that will be listening to this, viewers that have came because of you and viewers that follow my stuff regularly, they don't actually realize how relevant this is. They might be seeing this title and being like, an 8-day burpee marathon, like I can't even relate to this guy. This is like some of the most relatable stuff ever, because what you're just describing right now is what, I don't know if you follow Chris Williamson, podcaster. He runs Modern Wisdom podcast.
I might know him. I might have seen his face.
He's big in the US and America and Europe, and he basically it's funny because even amongst like viewers of like China or India, because they've got such big populations, they have ecosystems that have influencers and people that like I wouldn't even know of because their population's so big. But he talks about the lonely chapter, man, which is basically this point in your life where you have to break away from a way of thinking, but you've done it on such an extreme level that like you've probably like you go back and you feel like I can't even connect with anyone on a level that would understand me, because the entire narrative in your country is this is how we do things. So fair play to you, man. It's and it'll be, I can imagine it's inspired a lot of other Indians as well.
Yeah, I really think the Burpee Marathon this time, it really made change in a lot of people's lives. So it was funny because the first 2-3 days we had less people coming to the stadium, but once they realized that, damn, he is still going, I saw older people coming as well. I saw young kids coming as well. And while I used to burpee around the track, there was a group of people, like whoever came, they used to walk beside me. And it was just a community thing. Like people used to look forward to coming to the stadium, meet other people, get inspired by what I'm doing, and they take it back to their own careers and lives. So I had this friend in India. He recently shifted cities because he was always scared to do it because it made him uncomfortable. Before he did it, he messaged me and he said thanks to me that he saw me do something that no one believed in. I still went and did it. and that made him want to do something for himself as well. And I was like, no, this is not because of me, but this is because of you taking this step for yourself. So it's thanks to you that you see the good. I love that a lot of people came and they took inspiration for each one of their own lives, and that's the message I wanted to give.
Yeah, I understood because I watched the full thing and I watched you train and I knew you and I was like, this is insane. But I didn't really take into account the kind of impact that this had from a cultural. Like, it's insane. It's inspiring, man. Because if you go to the UK right now, everyone's running the length of a country to try and get famous. Every influencer is jumping on the next bandwagon to do it because we're privileged enough to be in positions where it's encouraged and it's normal. But yeah.
Another funny thing in India is I think people did not know what a burpee is until I did it. So that's very cool because I will not call out people like that, but quite influential people that I went to take help for this burpee marathon. They were like, "What's a burpee?" So it was really nice for me to actually do burpees where in a country where people don't even know burpees, and also from a point where I got more media attention and more audience globally than Indians.
Yeah.
So I got no Indian media talking about me, but I got worldwide media talking about me, just because people don't know what a burpee marathon is. They don't even know what a marathon is, or it's only starting to pick up in India where people are enrolling for 10-kilometer runs or half marathon runs. They don't understand what a burpee is, and I was happy that I still did it.
Yeah, it's insane. So what led you to choosing a burpee marathon? like what sent you on that path?
I was it's a long story, of course, but in the best way possible. I was literally taking a shower, and I still remember that moment. It was like someone planted this thought in me, and I think that was the best thing I did for myself, to be actually absurd and do something so meaningless that only made sense to me. And it was the best. The most beautiful part of the journey is that I had an idea and I saw it through till execution.
Yeah.
And it was terribly hard. The burpees were not hard. Executing this event was hard. 10 days of a stadium, the lights, security, a full team, their food, all sponsors, where does the money come from? All of that done by me. It's like a college degree. It's like a university degree in 1 year that I've done, from idea to execution. So I thank myself for that.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's sometimes people see things and they don't understand the effort that goes into it and what goes into it. And when you're talking to someone that has done not similar things, but they've done things to the extent where they've put a lot of effort into it, like, people take a lot for granted as well. So whereabouts is it in India that you're actually from?
From New Delhi, the
New Delhi.
capital, yeah.
Oh, cool. And so New Delhi, grew up encouraged to do more of the unconventional way, no religion, pushed, played football. Now we're 22, burpeed a marathon. What was the gap of like Mann adventure? When did this like come about? Well, like, have you done anything before that led to this? Because going from like 0 to burpee marathon seems pretty insane.
It's okay. When I was 12 years old, I went to Italy to pursue a life in football. So from then to age 19, I was just in Europe, trialing for different clubs, playing in different seasons in different clubs, mostly in Spain after Italy. And eventually I came back to India to play for a very good team in India, Indian League for football. A year into it, I was not making money, and money enough to even just for 3 weeks of petrol for the car that my father owns, not even mine. So I started realizing that all my life worth of effort is not worth the money I'm getting from football. And to put an image to this thought, I was on a vacation with my father and my sister to Reunion Island, where I was looking at the beach, I was looking at the sea actually, and I saw a humpback whale come up and drop down, and it was followed by 2 humpback whales, baby humpback whales, very small. And at that moment I remember thinking that there is so much beauty to life, and what I'm doing is chasing a ball where I'm not even getting paid and I'm only supported by my father. That led me to question my professional career in football. And that was the first thought I had about quitting football and doing something else. And behind the scenes, for a long time, I focused on my physical fitness because I was technically not at level to the Spanish football players. So I prioritized on my physical fitness to compete with them. So I was always really, really fit, and I was always doing some sort of mini adventures on the side, like ultra marathons and excessively doing pull-ups. Like we had this challenge, like every year that comes, we do that many reps of an exercise. So 2021, I did 2021 push-ups. 2022, I did 2022 handstand push-ups. 2023, 2023 pull-ups. Then 2024, I did a 24-hour run. So that is when things got extreme and I started liking the community I was building. People were supporting, people were coming to see me. So that was the change from football to adventures. So I did 5 adventures before this. And then eventually I was like, I have to do something so big to make a name. And then the Burpee Marathon.
Yeah, to carve your name into the greats.
Really?
Yeah, you've definitely done it, man. And you get attention, you get noticed. Yeah. It's cool to know. Again, as I said, it's me asking these questions I just genuinely want to know. And why did you come to Bali?
So that's another nice question. The moment I left football, I think June and July, around July mid is when I decided I want to quit football. My sister back then was trying to get my mother to come to Bali for a week for her birthday. And I was so depressed. I was unhappy. And I said, please, I'm coming along. Take me with you. We just came for a week actually in Bali for my mother. And I ended up leaving after 4 months. Yeah. Kept extending. So it started from a depressive episode for me. My first visit to Bali that really changed my perspective and gave me purpose. And I could feel myself here. And I just could not leave. So I had my idea of the Burpee Marathon when I was here. And then I made a promise to myself that I will only come back once I do it. So now I'm here again.
Love it, man. It's cool to see behind the scenes because I remember when I met you, was it the start of 2024 or the end of 2023?
2024, October.
Yeah, October, yeah. And a year before you done it. Yeah. So how long had you been here by that point?
Just 2 months.
2 months. Oh, is that? So that's literally around that time. You went away. It's crazy to think that was actually so short in a space of time, man. So, yeah. And so obviously, I'm just trying to trace through the entire thing so that I can be as up to speed as I can. So, what was the lead up like trying to get everything organized? Obviously, you mentioned about the stadium, everything. Like, what was that like?
So I did not know. Firstly, that it was going to take me 8 days to do it. At first, I thought I could do it in 72 hours, which is like just over 3.5 days, something like that. And of course, that comes from a very stupid thought behind me because I was underestimating the amount of effort that will go into this. It was only when I did a 5-kilometer test run where I realized that it takes 12 hours to do 5 kilometers. Which is really slow. And consider fatigue, consider eating, consider going to the washroom or taking a bit of a break or getting a massage done. You are talking about double the time. And only then I realized that I have to do this in a space big enough that, how I mean to say it is, if I do it in a small space, I make my event very small. I want it to be so grand. Only then it will be the biggest event ever. So I dreamed and I manifested the biggest stadium in India, which is the one I did it in. I put a pin to that stadium and I went after it like anything. I remember, I think 8 or 9 months of hunting for that stadium, trying to get papers, waiting outside the government office for like 9 hours sometimes just to get papers signed and the right contacts, literally exploiting people for giving me numbers to call the right people to make my stadium happen. So it was hell. That was my biggest challenge, to get the stadium. And then came the money, then came the lights, the 24/7 usage, who comes in, who goes out, having a team that will stay with me for 10 days. Where do they sleep? How do we get tents there? I have to pay to the world record people. I have to get rules. It was the biggest headache of my life.
Yeah, I can imagine. What was you obviously mentioned you created the training because no one's ever really made a blueprint for this. What was some of the dark points like in the training for that? Because I know the event is like, it's a grotesque event, the size of it, but this got extended. Like, this wasn't meant to be this long. You were training for it way longer than I trained for an Ironman back in 2020, and it kept getting prolonged because of the lockdown, and it was like 8 months instead of 4, and it was hard. So what was that like?
I think the real hard point in this was that you can never be ready for this. I can never do a marathon in training or a half marathon in training to be ready for a marathon in burpees. So I had it in my head that I will never go beyond 5 kilometers, and on my final day, I will just go for it. Because come on, I cannot burpee for several days just to train for.
Yeah, you break yourself.
What am I doing to myself? It's not. It's really not mentally worth it.
Have you followed Ross Edgley at all?
Yeah.
So when he done the Great British Swim, it was the same thing. He could only train up to so many days because he was swimming every day for 7 months.
Correct. Yeah.
So he was like, I can train for like 5 days. He's like, or 3 days or 2 days. He's like, but I'll just break myself if I need to train almost when you start. So did you kind of follow that same principle of like?
Yeah. Without knowing about it, I think I led to the same thing, because low mileage training to the final goal is the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah, definitely, man. So what was it like kicking things off and starting it out? What was it actually? Was it surreal? Was it?
It was so chaotic at first. It was. I experienced all kinds of weathers when I was doing it. So it started with 2 days of raining, extreme humidity after the rain, a lot of sun, and then just cold nights as well, chilly nights because of the rain. So it was really chaotic, and everything was all over, and it was. I kind of wanted it to start, and at one point I never wanted it to end, because it was honestly the best thing I've ever done. As I said, we were like, the best way to explain it is like my team we were full of hooligans. We were only having fun. There was nobody doing an important job. It was only fun for the 8 days I did burpees. Like literally, I hired my friends as my crew, and it was the best decision I made. We just had fun all 197 hours.
I think you have to have that sort of optimistic look when you do something like this, because you can go into such dark places very, very easily. And if you're not looking at it a bit like, almost like kind of ignorantly bliss,
Correct.
you can get yourself into some bad places. And going back to Ross Edgley, like his mindset is admirable, because it's the same as yours as well, man. So, and to be able to do that at 22, like a lot of people don't tap into this level of endurance and grit until they're older. Why do you think that you've been able to kind of develop this? Any unique outlooks or strategies or experiences that have allowed you to do this at such a young age?
The only reason I can think of is something my father says as well. So every adventure I do is linked to a social cause as well. So I say it's adventure with purpose. I basically get to scratch my itch in the head, which is do stupid things, but I always link it to something good, that I have the privilege of doing this. I was supported by my father in this. He said, if you don't find a sponsor, I'm standing behind you. Only then I can do it, right? I must give it back to people as well. I must give it back to my country. So we raised funds for an NGO that supported underprivileged kids, orphans mainly, that live on the street of India and they don't have the right means to education or food even. So I think what you asked me is, my father recently said that he doesn't want to be wealthy. He wants to be more of a giver, where you have so much and you give so much. And I think that is what I want to do as well. I want to do things I love, but I want to link it in a way that other people can benefit of my doings. And I think I see him do it a lot, so I try to do the same. But of course, monetize it in my own way and make a living of that through other ways as well.
Yeah, man, it's interesting to see what you pick up from other people, like your father as well. Sounds like you've had a really strong influence in your life, man, which is excellent. So, what was the sort of darkest points during it? What was the 8 days, man? That must have. I know you said you had fun doing it, but it can't have been all sunshine and rainbows.
Correct. It was pure torture actually, but I just look at it. I just miss it. I look at videos from when we were doing it, and it was just amazing. So yeah, there were dark places as well. I used to every night at around 3 or 4 a.m. I used to lose speech. I think I could never say a word. Like even after every kilometer, I had to hold the time and say that this is how much I've done, and I could never say it. Somebody else had to say it for me because I had no energy to even speak. Doing so many burpees and just being up all the time. Um, and I remember by the seventh day, of course, I'm very new to this, so I did not take professional help. I was drinking so much water and I was peeing so much that I think that's what the doctors told me, that I had some liver issues because of excessive drinking of water. So literally every time I had a sip, I could feel it go down like this and it would hurt. And
Sodium imbalance.
Hmm?
Sodium imbalance.
I don't even know, I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, it's like an electrolyte. It's like a mineral imbalance in your body because you're flushing so much. That's why you need to take on board so many key nutrients when you do it. That's crazy that you've done that with just water.
Yeah, and uh, so that was pretty painful actually. And my doctor, he was my physio actually. We thought it was a diaphragm problem, but it started hurting while passing urine as well. And I was scared to tell my team because then it would influence my burpee marathon. So I just never thought about it after that. And every time I would pee, I just close my eyes and not give power to the problem. And in any case, I knew that I had like the last 4 kilometers left at that point. So I just powered through.
Yeah, 4K sounds so little, but it's like a day. It's like a full day.
It's like 12 hours. It's okay.
12-hour shift, man, to do 4K. Crazy, man. I had it's good that you've not done this anymore. You're past this now, but I remember I heard a horror story. When I was training for my first Ironman and years ago, and I was in a lake swimming, and there was loads of other people training for different triathlons and stuff because it was like the only lake you could really swim at, like in the local area. And there was a bunch of people there that had done Ironman Frankfurt, I think it was, and they were like, "Oh, where are you doing it?" And I was like, I was meant to be doing it in Mallorca at this point, and they were like, "Oh, it gets really hot there." And then I ended up moving it to France, but it got hot there as well. And they were like, the person was just like, "Yeah, that person's." They were pointing at someone else that was there. They were like, it was their husband, or I can't remember who it was. I think it was a man. It's like their husband passed away, or their friend passed away at the end of an Ironman because he had he had a heart attack because he got to the end, but that was like a full send for like it was like a 10-hour Ironman, and he got to the end and he felt really, I don't know the full story, so I don't want to butcher what I'm talking about here, but he pretty much crossed the line, felt dazed, went to the aid tent, and he passed away because he only took on board water because the intensity of it, so it can actually kill you, man. It's insane stuff.
It definitely can. We had some, I don't know what you call that, heart checkups as well every day.
Yeah.
For my because my heart rate was elevated throughout.
Your lungs get tired as well. Your body, it's like you would experience so many crazy things, man, that like the human body's like just not meant to, it's not meant to do because you've done it, but you're breaking all the rules.
Also mentally, I really experience vivid dreams as well. I think this is very interesting because even before my burpee marathon, I developed so much fear that I could not sleep alone anymore. And this is because of my burpee marathon. It only happened once I thought of doing this. When I used to approach brands, I remember this brand called me back, like they were going to support me and fund me. They called me very sudden midday saying that, hey, what if you die doing it? Our brand will go to shit. Like we will suffer consequences. And at that point, I thought, you don't even care about my life, and it's so easy for you to say. I think people inflicted so much fear on me mentally that I started developing nightmares when I used to sleep. And I had to sleep in the same room as my father every day until I did it. And even now, I've recently just got over the fear of sleeping alone. But that this whole process really took a toll mentally, physically, spiritually, even everything. So it's quite interesting that I already experienced this at this age.
Yeah, it's mad. It's you sometimes take things like this on and you don't realize the mental and psychological responsibility that goes with it as well. That's why I thought at this age, like, not many people have done things like this, because certain sports, you look at certain demographics and ages, and it's because a big part of experience and wisdom goes with that. So yeah, it's you went through the school of hard knocks, and you learned a lot in a short space. You probably done more growing in 8 years, in 8 days, than you did in 8 years.
Yeah, really.
Which is, yeah, man. So what was the most unexpected thing that came from actually doing it? Because that full 8 days must have felt very long. What was like the thing that, the moments or the experiences that happened during the full thing that you did not expect, that were just like the best parts about it?
I think I would only say the amount of love I got from people. Like I remember a lot of friends told me when I finished, after the same night when I finished doing they actually, very funny. The guy who was officiating my world record, the main guy of the officiator, he came and told me he did not start working on my profile until I passed 35 kilometers because he did not believe I could do it. And I loved that. I loved that everybody wanted to support me because I was a kid doing it, but nobody actually thought I would do it. And there's nothing more powerful than that. That makes me smile because imagine the amount of power I have. Any idea I want, I can go and make it happen. So I think that was the biggest thing I realized from my Burpee Marathon. The amount of love I got, even when people didn't believe in me. And some did, of course, but I just received so much love that I experienced such a dip after that, because it was just 8 days of immense love. And then, of course, everybody moves on in life.
And what was that like?
That was actually quite new for me as well, but a good experience. I went on traveling a bit after my Burpee Marathon. I went to see tigers with some friends, and just it was quite a moody week for me. That's how I would say it.
Yeah, the chemicals in your body, man, would have been cooked. Would have emptied every single one to get that done.
Oh yeah, I was depleted, yeah, in every way.
And you mentioned to me when I met you, obviously out here, when I met you back in the gym, that your drive your just drive and your total notion to do anything has been like non-existent for months now.
It's gone, yeah.
Yeah, you ran an ultra marathon last week.
Yeah, but it's still like I did not train for it. I did not want to train for it. I did not look at my nutrition. Even now, I go to the gym to maintain my physique, but I don't go for performance anymore. And there is a big shift. I feel like I deserve at least few months off anything, because I've fried my whole system.
Yeah. I've in the background been doing some work with like a mindset coach, and I just know the last year and a bit, like I'm 32, I'm 10 years older than you, and years of pushing business, pushing life, competing in different things has took its toll on me a little bit, where like, see, for the last year, man, like I've had nowhere near the drive to do anything. I thought it was my testosterone. Nah, I've got really good testosterone and biomarkers, that everything's healthy. And the more I tap into it, I understand the power of the central nervous system. And what you obviously I didn't burpee for 8 days, but that I know what it's like to lose all drive for a lot of things. Like you feel like you're empty. You feel like you're not depressed, but you're like, you're just a bit like, like, let's yeah. So I understand that feeling, but I don't think people have enough awareness when they do something. So see if someone takes you on a high rocks or they do a marathon and you're explaining recovery to someone and they're like, yeah, but I feel fine. I'm like, you can feel fine. You're in the gym, you're training, joints, organs, everything's functioning fine, but your internal drive is off. And a lot of people cook themselves because they commit to so many things, and then they're also doing that alongside living their life, working full time, and they're kind of like, but I've drank my water and I've hit my macros, and you're like,
It's not enough. Yeah.
it's deeper than that. So yeah, what's the outlook on all of this then? Are you quite at peace with it? Like, are you doing anything to focus on improving it or getting it back right now? Or are you just listening to the signals that you're being sent right now?
I am listening to my body. I think I take it day by day. So right now I feel very tight, and as I said to you, I feel it in my CNS as well. I can train very heavy now. I do also. On the days I feel myself, I train very heavy, but then suddenly I don't feel anything at all, and I respect it and I just take it day by day. So no plans for ahead, no goals for ahead right now, but just the only goal is to take it day by day.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way for me right now, and that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. And how different I know you said there was like a high, then there was a low of it, but how different has life been? Like, obviously you said the big thing you want to do was you've got a goal, a career that you want to pursue. 22 years old, you want to have a big impact. You've obviously laid down like a big marker on the ground. Like, I have done the Burpee, what a record for doing a 42-kilometer marathon. What opportunities have came your way? Is there like an element of fame or notability or?
Definitely. I think I thank myself to do this because the amount of opportunities I've gotten just from this, and also the trust I've gained in people because of this, is immense. So I do have a full year of work ahead, which also I'm taking day by day. So it's like more like for me to pick and choose what I want. And yeah, it's just I'm taking it very slow and I'm taking it as it comes to me. So I've not made any brand decision yet. I endorse no brand on my page because I'm not an influencer, but I want to be an athlete. And I only want to work with someone when I really believe in it and I know what I'm doing next. So currently I don't know what I'm doing next. So I'm just on a pause.
Yeah, man. Is there any, you obviously mentioned earlier about having an itch scratched. Is there any sort of pipe? I know that is a pretty big pipe dream. Is there anything that you've said out loud before or not said out loud that you're like, that's something that I really have on my radar that I would like to do or achieve?
Surely. I think the next thing I want to do is, I won't say the next thing, but I think there's one thing I want to do. I want to really, so as I said, I do adventure with purpose. I really want to be in the water with blue whales or whales because that is the reason I quit football and came here. And I want to talk about and spread more awareness about how important they are to our entire marine life and entire ecosystem that way. And I just want to do it my way. I want to document whales, but in my way to my audience. That is just something I want to do.
Doing a burpee on a whale.
I think I would get more hate for that.
This is what goes through my head, man. But yeah, so yeah, man, it's you've obviously got a very bright future ahead, man. If this is what you've done at 22, and you've got a hell of a mindset, man, a very, very inspiring mindset.
Yes, if I stay true to myself, I think I will keep going this direction.
Yeah. What message have you got for anyone that's listening to the podcast right now?
I like to share one quote that I also have as a wallpaper of my mobile. Actually, I will read it so it makes more sense. It's actually something very Indian from a very religious book. Many people will know it. It's called the Bhagavad Gita. And it says, focus on your process and leave the sprout to God. Your harvest will reap rewards beyond your wildest dreams. So don't think about the fruit that you will get from planting your tree. Just go ahead and plant your tree. I think that is what I did with my Burpee marathon as well. I did it because I wanted to do it and not what I could have gotten from it. So I think that's the best advice I would give someone else as well.
Yeah, man. And you mentioned at the beginning that you obviously grew up as what you would call an atheist. I don't even like the term atheist because I don't even identify as an atheist because people are like, are you religious? And I'm like, well, I'm not atheist because I don't like to even put a label on that. Like, I have beliefs. What are your beliefs being from obviously New Delhi and growing up in India surrounding nutrition, religion? Can't even speak right now.
In nutrition.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, my mother used to pray, does pray a lot, is very religious, and I grew up in a house where we used, uh, we have a temple in our home as well. My father, on the other hand, is very global and very open-minded to all religions. And I think I was introduced to both, and I just took what I wanted from it. And I went on to a direction when I was 12 years old, I was living with football players. There was no time to pray or to find myself in God. I was only playing football. So even I never called myself an atheist, but I like to hear about all religions. I like to hear about beliefs, and I have my own beliefs as well. I believe in just doing good and being good without expectations, without expecting anything in return. And I think I really believe in energies, like your surroundings, and what you give out to your surroundings is the life you deserve and you will have. So I'm not yet introduced to a higher power in that sense, or to a belief as of now. So yeah, I wouldn't label it as well.
I'm the exact same. I'm just open minded, listening to different people, totally respect people that have strong religious beliefs as well. And I met a guy when we were in Vietnam and for Christmas actually, and he was the guy that took us a tour on he took us a bike tour in 2018 when we were there. And then we met him again. He took us on the same tour, a different tour, but it was awesome. And he said, he was like, he's followed me since 2018. He's like, you're a really smart businessman, Christian. He's like, I followed you obviously on Facebook, and he's seen me like grow and stuff, and like over like a 7-year period, well now nearly 8 years. And he was like, I find it so impressive that you're very good at business, but you're not religious. And I was like, oh, how's that? Like, I was just curious. Like, I wasn't offended by it. I was like, I wanted to hear. And he's like, because a lot of people who don't have faith struggle with depression and anxiety and different like challenges. And I'm like, well, I'm sure people with religion still struggle with fate, like they still experience these feelings. But I got what he meant. But I believe anyone that I meet that maybe doesn't have a set structured religious background, they have a strong belief system. And like, you can call it whatever you want, a higher power, spirit, but as long as you have some kind of narrative and belief system that can carry you through things, it's so important to have, because suppose it's the term, you have to have faith. Because if you don't have faith, you can end up so lost. So yeah, I was curious to.
I think it's more of being optimistic that even if something bad happens right now, you will get through it. You will solve it. I think that's what I learned through my challenges as well. That I can go through anything, and I have myself. That is a belief, as you said.
Yeah. And what's obviously in the near future for you now? You obviously mentioned some ideas that you've got. What's in the near imminent future? Are you chilling in Bali for a while, or are you going to go more travels, or?
So actually, funny enough, my next adventure is to make money. And as a 22-year-old, I think it's every 22-year-old's goal in this age. They want to make money, and that's how I use this word as well, my next adventure, because I know I will make it happen. Me, my sister, and 2 of my friends, we are starting a business together, which I think makes sense to do with my experience and me being in India. So my year ahead looks like more like starting that business and just learning from it. Even if I fail, I will learn from the failure and make something else happen. So I think that's how I see my year mostly.
Yeah, man. And you can definitely tell as well, it's leading the way for more people to go on that path, especially your Indian audience as well. And hopefully it gets to the right people so they can do whatever they put their mind to. But it's a mad journey becoming a business owner.
Yeah, it will be fun, I think. it will lead to more interesting conversations with more interesting people once I start.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're my age and 10 years from now, you'll be in a pretty crazy spot, man.
Wherever I will be.
Yeah. Nah, awesome. Well, I think that's a very positive note to round things off. And yeah, if you have enjoyed the episode, make sure you share it to someone else. Hit subscribe to the channel and leave any comments below. But is there anything you would like to say to everyone before we close off?
I think we covered most of it, but I will just say that more than anything, let's just all be nice. That's all I have to say.